You can do anything, but not everything. And that is just a fact. Because no matter how talented, skilled, or how much of a high achiever you are, there is just not room to do it all. And no matter how much you want to squeeze it all in, and even though people keep asking you for stuff, there is just not enough time. And at some point, we need to say no. And if we wait too long with this no, we are filling up our time with stuff that might feel good and be kind of important, but we are not having any time left to spend on the things we really, really need and should do to get the result we want. My name is Johanna, and I'm not only an agile coach trying to help organizations with these kind of questions. I'm also a person that has and currently struggle with prioritization on a daily basis. And I don't know about your experience with prioritization, but I guess I'm not the only one that have worked in organizations where the ratio between saying yes and no to really, really important stuff is something like 100 to never. But what is the actual problem with that, you might ask? And let's have a look at this calendar. Do you see any time for actual work? I would say this is the consequence of not prioritizing. Time is filled up to a point where the throughput seems to be close to zero, and the work in progress is always way too much and some more. And as we all know, we should stop starting and start finishing. And one way of doing that is to limit the work in progress. And if we don't, there is a risk we will be stuck task switching and feeling that we work really, really hard, but never get something put to done. But I really, really get it. Prioritization is really hard, both on a personal and organizational level. And it's not like hard just because. It's hard because we psychologically tend to have an easier time to say yes to things. And the worst part is that we have an even harder time to say no, and especially when we are stressed. And therefore, we just continue to add more stuff to our backlog. And now we're in this vicious circle where we add more stuff of something and less time on the actual thing. So when we keep saying yes, what happens then is the throughput gets even longer, the work in progress goes up even more, and the calendars will not only be fully booked, they will be doubled and triple booked. And that is where prioritization comes into the picture. We need to start saying no. And it's not like saying no to the things you don't want to, or the things that you wouldn't have done anyhow. It's about saying no to the things that we really, really want to do, just to be able to focus on something that is even better. And that means that prioritization will hurt. It will be hard, and it will be difficult. And if it doesn't, you are in fact not prioritizing. And do not hope that it will get easier. Because just as when running, it doesn't get easier the more you train. You just get faster. And it will still be tough, but the result will be better. Same goes for prioritizing. It will hurt, it will not get easier, but the result gets better. So just keep going. But why is it that we keep ending up in the same situation? Imagine if you're starting to build an app, like a Save the World kind of app. And of course, you want everyone to help save the world. And you want all the functionality at once. You want all of the customers. You want to do all of the marketing in all of the channels. And if we say yes to all of this, our calendars will start to fill up. The work in progress go up, and the throughput will, within short, reach 0. So, and that is not exactly what a startup wants or any other company wants to achieve. So now again, we are in this situation where we do a lot of things, but we get no real output. But what is the solution? Once again, there are 2 words, 2 letters. It's no. Saying no, it is the key to getting the results that we really want. Because saying no will create the focus that we really need. And to get where we want with the things that we actually say yes to, with the few things, I would say. And when we have worked with these few things that we actually said yes to, and it's done, the question is, what happens next? Do we just start with the next thing on our prior list and then continue until we are done? Nope. Times are changing rapidly, both inside and outside of the company. And what was prioritized a few months back is no longer that important, or maybe it's even more important now. And anyhow, it's not exactly the same now as when we did a few months back. And therefore, we need to start prioritizing all over again. And that means saying more no's and a fewer yes. But how do we start over? And how do we actually prioritize at all? I would say that prioritization is done together. It is not up to a single product owner to say no. Instead, let's prioritize by including all the relevant people in the discussion. And together we say no. This will make us stronger and more confident. And also it will help us to remain focused on the overall strategy. And also remember to be transparent throughout the organization so that everyone can adapt and contribute to the greater goal of the company. And one idea could be to start measure how many times we actually say no, and how many times we say no in relation to yes. This could be an indicator helping us to visualize how the ratio between saying no and yes to those really, really important things might be, which in turn can tell us how focused we really are. And so no is more important than yes. And now my question to you is, what do you say no to tomorrow? And now I don't mean that boring thing you didn't want to do from the beginning. What do you really, really want to do? But tomorrow you will say no to, just to ensure that you're keeping that focus on that special something.